Let's take a look at more advanced types of queries that you can run in the Query Manager form. As you saw in the previous videos about the Query Manager, the QM is a very powerful and flexible tool for querying relational and hierarchical data. But the great advantage of the PCA's Query Manager is its ability to interact with external data, external that is to data entered in the PCA's database. In fact, the QM allows you to run queries on either PCA's data by themselves, as we saw in our previous videos, on external data only, external but imported into the PCA's backends as user table, or most importantly, with both PCAs and external data, allowing the two to interact. And in this third option lies the real power of the Query Manager. Because if you have, let's say, demographic census data on the location of events that you have coded using newspapers as data sources of the events that you are studying, you can link your event data with population data or even map it if you also have geocoding data. And let's see how you can do that. Let's open the Query Manager form by pressing F6. And let's try to build a query where we extract from the sample database the city names where events occurred. We want to match the lynching event data of PCA's sample database with both population and geocoding data that we have in an Excel spreadsheet. First things first, let's bring the Excel spreadsheet into PCA's as user table. Don't be fooled by the Excel icon under the Build Query tab right here. The code behind that icon imports an external Excel spreadsheet as user table only temporarily, deleting it after the analysis. If you want a permanent table, like the status box for the Excel button says, hit F8 and then import the spreadsheet as a permanent user table. Well, permanent at least until you delete it. So let's do that. Let's hit F8 to open the PCA's user tables form, and then let's click on the button Import an Excel file. PCA's will ask you if the Excel spreadsheet contains any headers, in our case yes, and then we select the file to be imported. We can choose the name of the user table that will be created, and then click OK to confirm. Okay, now that we imported the table as user table, let's build a simple query. We start from semantic triplet, we select the tab Build Query, and then from the complex combo box we select the object semantic triplet, then the object process under it, then we go to simple process, and then verbal phrase. Now let's go back to simple process, select the object circumstances, and then space and city name. And now we can run the query by pressing F3. It looks like there are two cities, Blackshear and Hinsville. To make sure, let's sort the records by city name by clicking on the label city name right here. And if we scroll down, we only see those two cities. But if we really want to be sure, we should run an SQL query on the records displayed in the current query results form. So let's click on the SQL button right here, and now let's click on the AutoSQL sum. We choose the field that we want to count, in our case city name, and then we choose which other fields should be displayed in the same output table. For now we're not interested in any other fields, so we just click on cancel, and then run this query. And as you can see here, we have only two cities, Blackshear and Hinsville, with their respective frequencies. Now let's close the SQL equal form and all the other forms, and let's go back to the Query Manager. As you can see from the last line of the status box when hovering over the graphic area, right here, you can see that a user table object is available for selection only for simplex objects. So in order to attach a user table to our query, we should select the simplex city name and then scroll down on the alias children and other objects box right here, and we select user table. And from here we can select the waypoints and population table that we imported before. As you can see, the table was added right below the simplex city name. The fields that we are going to join, so the city name field and the field that we are going to select inside this table, must be compatible. So they must have the same value types, both numeric or both text, for instance. Not to worry if they are not. So if you are joining a numeric field with a text field, PCA's will prevent you from running the query. And if you select fields with the same value types, so for example both text fields, but you select a field from the lower user table that does not contain city names, you will simply get an empty query with no matches. So we go ahead and select city name from the user table, and you get a warning message that the city name field in PCA's is a memo field, basically a text field of almost unlimited length, while the same field in Excel is of type text, so a text field of length 255 characters. Furthermore, SQL does not allow inner join queries with memo type fields, so the warning is telling you that the join will be based on the first 255 characters only. And let's click OK. So now we see that we have two terminal objects highlighted in green, and this value is highlighted in red and green, so it has condition on it. So let's click on it to see what condition PCAce has added, and this is the join condition. So it is a field that PCAce uses to run the query as an SQL inner join, and if you try to remove the condition, PCAce will not let you. Okay, now let's run the query by pressing F3, and here we go. You now get a list of various actions and where they happened, and of course the two cities of Blackshear and Hinsville. But you wanted the waypoints, latitude and longitude, so let's go back to the Query Manager, and let's click on the Waypoints and Population user table, and let's select latitude and longitude. That are the fields that we had in the user table. Now we can run the query again by pressing F3, and here we go. We have latitude, longitude, the city, and the action. And we're done. Don't forget to watch the tutorials for the query results form, the data analysis video, and for the SQL EQL form.